Welcome to the At the Coalface podcast with your host, Jason Greenwood. This podcast is all about what it's really like in the trenches of digital and e-commerce. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome Fran Brzyski from Hark, the founder and CEO of Hark, to the pod today. Welcome, Fran.
Thanks. I really appreciate having me.
Awesome to have you here. Now, you're based in New York, so it's the end of your day. So hopefully you're not feeling too worn out to have a chat with me today.
Never, man. Best part of the day.
Yeah, I guess when you're the head of a tech company, you work all hours of the day and night, right?
Get home. The biggest job of the day is getting home and getting the kids to bed. After that, it's easy. Then it's just back to work for Hark. Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. And Hark's been around. We'll get into Hark a little bit more in a minute, but Hark's been around for just over a year now. But if we look to your background before you founded Hark, you've held a lot of roles. You've done a lot of exciting things throughout your career, but it's mostly been around the orbit of account management, head of sales, RevOps, customer service. It's been in this sphere of everything you've done pretty much has been customer facing throughout your career. So it feels like that background has really heavily informed what you're doing over at Hark.
Yeah, it's a diverse background for sure. And through my career, I remember wrestling with the fact of leaving JP Morgan as my first job, thinking I made it, but I hated that job. And I went somewhere and actually took a pay cut. And I called my basketball coach from college and said, like, I'm jumping before a year. They say not to do that. Is that going to hurt my resume? And I remember him saying, the more experience you get at different organizations is going to propel you tremendously, where you've tried things different ways. You've seen how management has led different ways, what works, what doesn't work. And I took that approach. And you'll see in my career where I loved an organization like Oxford Immunotech, like Rocket Trip. I loved those organizations and I stayed until there were circumstances where it was either an acquisition or something like that and I had to move on. If there was an organization I didn't love, I made a move. It yielded very well for me.
That's so good. I guess following a passion, or at least what is it they say? Until something, if you're sitting on a thorn in life, until that thorn gets painful enough, you won't move. And I guess for you, you were like, man, I want out of this corporate game, and I want to do something different. Perhaps sounds like something more meaningful, something more fulfilling in your life. And ultimately, that's led us to Hark. And Hark is such a unique platform. Now, I've never implemented Hark before. I've never worked with Hark before, but at least as far as I can tell from the way that you sell your product and talk about the product and the experience, the CX part of Hark on your website, it sounds like a pretty ingenious technology. It almost combines what I perceived to be like a hero type of experience. So the hero platform, which of course Klarna famously acquired last year, combined with a help desk type platform like a Zendesk or like a Gorgeous. So it really brings this concept of video to help desk technology. So you're marrying two distinct technologies together to create a much, much better customer service experience for brands. Is that a reasonable explanation of the platform?
Yeah, you're making me sound much smarter than I am. But yeah, it's when you go on this journey, some founders look for a problem to solve and they find it. And some just keep feeling the same pain and question, why does this exist? And that's a route I took, where as a consumer, it was just always the same thing. Chat, phone, email. I go to the contact us page. What does the tech stack look like? Really, what's the path to least resistance where I can just get this done and off my plate? And I question that. Why does it have to be this way? Why can't I just front load everything and get them my issue and just get back to me once you've solved it out? Or if you have follow-up questions, great. But I just constantly felt myself repeating and talking to agent after agent. You couple that with the entire world moving to video-based technology, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Zoom even, right? Like putting a video out there asynchronously and engaging with it thereafter is very normal in terms of how we communicate. So that's where Hark came to life. It was, how can I get this off my plate in 30 seconds, move on with my day, feel like I'm taken care of? And the video aspect, people are comfortable with that. They're like, hey, I will show you exactly what's going on from my point of view so you can see it and then just come back to me. Maybe I did something wrong. No big deal. Maybe the product's defective. Okay, but at least you can see it and you have QA now. Your product marketers can see my point of view. It just helps everybody throughout the whole process.
And I guess the other thing, like your promise, the promise of your technology, I love this statement on your website. It says, no more talking to robots, rerouting through phone trees. Use Hark to easily upload a video or audio recording describing your problem. We take care of the rest. So presumably this is not just necessarily somebody taking a selfie video on their phone and describing the problem. This could be something as simple as somebody taking a Loom video in their browser of the issue they're having on a D2C e-commerce website, for example, and then being able to submit that as their ticket, right?
Yeah, video is certainly not new. Picture's not new, but the process behind how you can get that to a service team so that it's effective for the brands to actually implement this, that's where the magic of Hark happens. So yeah, there certainly is that aspect to it where you can record your screen and, hey, I keep getting a bug when I reach this part of the screen. You can see my instance. Here's what's going on versus back and forth over email with screenshots. A lot of it is used for retailers or CPG or just anyone with an online presence where you're sending products directly physically to a consumer's home or business. And that's where you take out your phone and you show them from your point of view what's going on. We can also ask other questions from a workflow standpoint of maybe you have to take a picture of the barcode or the box or a damaged item within the box. But we're front loading all of that with picture and video so that the agent, when they receive the ticket, they have the video, they have a transcription of the video, they have sentiment, they have the name, the phone number, the email, they have the preferred contact method. We package it up into what we call the perfect ticket so that it's an agent's dream to get all of this up front and either solve it out with a thoughtful one touch or go back and ask for more with, I hear you, I see what's going on, just need one more piece of information. Can you bear with me? Which is different than the typical macro you get. Hey, thanks so much. We'll be back in touch. Can you send us the same information packaged in a different way, which is just causes frustration on both sides.
Absolutely. And you call out specifically on your website that you integrate seamlessly into existing help desks. And I'm assuming that does include the likes of Zendesk and Gorgeous and all the popular major help desks that are Freshdesk and all the major help desk platforms that are in market. But for perhaps the merchants that don't necessarily yet have a help desk of their own, can you provide your own help desk technology, or would you always recommend when they come to you, if they're not using a help desk technology yet, hey, go out and get your help desk technology, get that implemented, get all of your canned responses and all of your workflows and all that stuff set up in your help desk first, then come to Hark. We can help you effectively create the perfect ticket on behalf of your customers with all of the information you're going to need to resolve these issues quickly, professionally, and with total customer satisfaction.
Yeah, so we started with Zendesk. We have a full integration with Zendesk, and we're branching out thereafter, like you said, Freshworks and Gorgeous and Gladly and Customer. Like, we plan to be integrated within all of them in short time. We do have people who don't have a help desk software right now. It just limits a little bit of the ability of Hark. We can still send them the Hark messages, and it would go into their support inbox, whether that's through HubSpot or some kind of CRM that they use. But one big aspect about Hark that we haven't talked about is when you send in your video, that's where we've implemented a level of transparency, which leads to trust. So you send in your video, you get an email back with a link that you can track your ticket through its journey. And you don't know it's in Zendesk. You don't know it's in Gladly or wherever it might be. But as that agent is moving it from open to solved to pending, almost like the Domino's pizza tracker, you're seeing that go through the journey. Hey, Fran's working on your ticket. Jason solved it out. And what we're limiting there and mitigating against is people who send in an email. Now they're going to chat or phone to check up on the same ticket, which wastes a lot of time. It costs a lot of money. With the tracker, you can see, okay, I'm being taken care of. They're on it. And if you haven't heard back, you just click a button there that says, hey, I haven't heard anything. Can someone reach out? And we escalate that for you. But if they don't have a help desk software, we can't integrate via API. We can't bring all that to life.
Yeah, makes absolute sense. And with your typical help desk platform, whether it be a Gorgeous or whatever help desk platform, typically they've got a contact form on the website that allows you to attach files to that when you submit, whether it be a screenshot, whether it be a video, a Loom video, whatever it might be. They allow you to attach files to that help desk ticket. Presumably, I'm guessing this is potentially getting a little bit technical here, but when you integrate with these help desks, presumably you connect to their API endpoints. And when you create a ticket, you're using all of that inbuilt functionality. But when you ingest the video into Hark, you're effectively attaching it to the ticket, just as the customer would, going through a long form, filling out a bunch of details, saving a video to their machine, and then attaching it as a file. So you're following a very similar process to what a customer could follow in a typical Zendesk Gorgeous-like experience, except for the fact that you're automating a significant portion of the effort required to get that ticket into customer service hands. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah, Jason, you're onto something. We're on a mission I think forms can go by the wayside, right? With something like Hark, like you don't need forms anymore on your website. I think They're the best way for customer service agents to get information because they provide uniformity. But with Hark being dynamic and having customized workflows and things like that, we can accomplish the same thing in a much more pleasant way for the customer. So if I'm the consumer and I go in and I fill out the form, it says attach a file or video at the end. What kind of file? Does it fit? Is the video too big? Like, we've all had that happen to us. And when that gets sent into, say, Zendesk, and the agent looks at it, they have to, like you said, download it on their computer. Where does that go? Is it stored? Are people looking at it? What we're planning to do with Hark is, by front loading the video portion and then asking for the picture or whatever else is supplemental, the agents no longer have to download it. Now it's all in the cloud. It's cloud-based. So there's a link that they can circulate internally, but a huge aspect of Hark, think about voice of the customer and consumer sense. You now have, it's not what people say, it's how they say it. And people are now inviting you into their homes and their point of view and showing you things you've never seen of, it's a stove and look at what countertop it's on and how it's plugged in or how far away from the router it is, or it's a health shaker and they leave it right out here and they see it every single day. So think about the brand equity part of this, where you can really understand your customers in a different way than you have before, because you're prompting them to do that from the start. Whereas with the form, it's like, well, what do I even send? And what do they even need to solve the ticket out? And yes, you're taking an educated guess that they need a picture of the damaged box, sure. But not everybody's that technology focused, and not everybody's willing to take a picture, email it to themselves, save it on their desktop, put it in there. It's just too cumbersome of a process.
Makes complete sense, especially for the non-tech savvy. Now, some people are super tech savvy and it's no issue for them, but I guess in many instances, the hyper tech savvy would have solved their own issue themselves. So oftentimes the lowest common denominator of people asking questions or needing help or needing assistance are, by definition, oftentimes not that tech savvy. So you've plugged that gap, and I'm guessing that you host all of the video that's taken and uploaded into Hark. You host that. So it's not even, the video itself doesn't need, the file doesn't even need to go into a Zendesk and be hosted by Zendesk or on the Zendesk platform, because you provide that, and presumably you provide the link as part of the ticket generation process. You inject your Hark link into that to where they can play it. Presumably it's an embedded player that activates or something like that, to where now all of a sudden, like you say, we don't have to download these files, play them on a local machine as a customer service person trying to figure out how does this link with the actual ticket itself. So really, you've created this embedded or highly integrated experience such that I guess customer service teams largely live in Hark in terms of ingesting the content, understanding the content, seeing the transcripts, etc. But then in terms of the comms directly with the customer, it's all handled through their ticketing system.
Exactly, right? Yes, we host it all, and we built it so that it's not yet another system where the agents have to go here and go there. They just get, again, what we call the perfect ticket into their Zendesk. They see it. They've got everything they need in front of them. The video shows up on the app panel on the right-hand side. Sometimes they don't even have to watch the video. They've got the synopsis. They can tag it. There's uniformity. Every subject line that comes in is the exact same so that they can route it to the right team. And what we're doing is we're creating an incredible customer experience, like we said, 30 seconds or less. Get your problem off, show them what's going on. But on the back end, we're bringing features to life of Zendesk in terms of rules, in terms of tagging, in terms of all these things that they want to use it for. We're able to do that and give them even more enhanced reporting on the back end.
Awesome. And from a customer experience point of view, what would I see? Like when I went to an e-commerce, let's say I'm going to an e-commerce website and I want to create a ticket. I want to reach out and contact the brand and say, hey, I need help with X, or I've got a question about Y, whatever it might be. Typically, I'd be sent to a form page, or typically I would have a live chat that would pop up. And then maybe if they weren't available, then the transcript of the live chat would automatically go into the help desk. Or even if they were available via live chat, it would create a ticket based on that live chat within the help desk. So there's these vectors, what I call vectors for help desks on traditional websites, where it's typically either a form or a live chat. Those are the two most common vectors, and even email address. So if there's an email address on the website, someone will send just a standard email, but it goes into the help desk with the subject line and the body text and everything into the help desk, right? It creates a help desk ticket that then they get an automatic confirmation that the brand has received it. Here's your ticket number. We'll respond to you shortly, and all that sort of stuff. So those are the two vectors. It's usually email, form, and live chat. So for you guys, if I'm a customer and I want to use the Hark experience as a customer, what am I going to be greeted with?
So the brands that use Hark are doing it in different ways. The beauty of how we build it is you could embed it, so you could replace your form and embed it directly on your site, according with your brand kit, right? The customer doesn't even know they're using Hark. It's just a powered by approach. So they go to your website, they don't even realize it's Hark. They just see this embedded flow that's super easy to use, and that's great. The other ways to do it are we can do a JavaScript snippet. So we're floating on your site just like a live chat would. People that have live chat, they don't really want two buttons competing with each other. In that case, they use a link. And they put on their contact us page, like you said, sometimes it says, here's our email, here's our phone number. Also, best way to get in touch, click here. And they use a link to do that. They insert the link into the live chat flow. Hey, is this urgent? No? Great. Send us a message this way. And they click the link. It could be an order confirmation. So there's there's a multitude of ways to use it. And the way the CX leaders are thinking is, okay, this is a great experience for my customers. This differentiates us from other brands, but it's also my cheapest channel. It's my cheapest cost per ticket. And I want to drive people towards this because it's going to be better for us on the back.
And I see that you are eating your own dog food, even on your own website. You're almost demonstrating the type of experience that you help brands create. You're using yourself on your own website. So, for example, if I go to your contact page, it's show us, easier than email and chat. Just tell us what's on your mind, your point of view, how you hear back. And then really, I've got two calls to action here. I've got, we want to hear from you. Click below to get started, which says record a message. Then the other block, it says, would you rather email us? That's okay too. Click hello at sendhark.com. So from here, effectively, you are showing or demonstrating in real time the Hark experience directly on your own website. So presumably, so I see here, basically I can create a new Hark. So I'm guessing this is based on almost Hark the Herald Angel. So record Hark, click the icons to record. So basically I can record from my screen, I can record a video, I can record an audio directly from there, and I can create a attachment as well if I prefer. And then it's effectively a pop-up window that is almost like a live chat window, but instead of typing in a free text field, I'm actually capturing either the screen capture, the video, the audio, or the attachment, and then clicking submit Hark, very similar to a live chat window or very similar to a ticketing window. But instead of the interface being text-based, it has interactive options instead.
That's right. And that's a very bare bones version of it. But that's all we need for Hark, because people are just trying to get in touch to ask about employment or asking about the company or press or whatever it might be. But it's nice. You get a personal message on our side and we know who we're dealing with from the start, which you lose that personality over email. Imagine that in a brand's contact us page according to their brand kit, but they can put, custom copy in there saying in your video, make sure you include X, Y, and Z. You can usually click damage, return, warranty claim as a macro when you're getting started. You can have other screens pop up saying, now make sure you take a picture of this. So yes, we are absolutely dog fooding it. I don't believe in forums. I believe this is the way of the future, and this is the way people want to communicate asynchronously on their terms.
Love it. And I don't see a pricing page on your website, but you obviously are a SaaS platform. So presumably you've got a subscription element to your platform. So how do you guys make your money?
Yeah, so with some brands to get started, we've done it where it's just pay as you go for a 3-month term. No sweat off our back. We know what we're going to prove and let us do that. So they would charge a certain amount per Hark. And then once we figure out that volume after 3 months as to what you're receiving, we can flip that over to an annual contract and save you some money as a per Hark basis. Other companies that we've gotten involved with, they're a little bit bigger and they would rather just do an annual contract for predictability and use some of their volume, leverage that to save a little bit more money. So we figure out an annual contract there and we do it on a 12-month term.
Fair enough. And so just for everyone's benefit, so they can understand how much they might expect to be paying for the Hark service, would you be in line in terms of your cost structure, your pricing structure? Would you be similar to the help desk cost? If they're paying X amount for Gorgeous, could they expect to pay a similar amount for Hark, more, less? How does that work in context of help desk costs?
Yeah, think of it more as your cost per ticket on channel. So if we think about phone tickets, the industry standards, and these are subjective, every company is different, but maybe a phone costs about $2.50 per ticket. Email might be $2.35. Chat might be $1.88. That chat's usually your cheapest option there. We would come in somewhere between $1.50 and $1.75 per Hark. And we would charge you that on a per Hark basis, where depending on your volume, if you have a ton of volume and that's going to scale, we're going to move to an annual contract and save you some money. If you're smaller and you do 3,000, 5,000 tickets a month, that's your best course of action, gets it off the ground, start using it, and it's going to be your cheapest channel with a higher one-touch resolution rate and decreased average handling time.
Yeah, I guess that is the benefit of a help desk or even live chat for that matter, I guess, is the fact that if you're on phone, literally on a phone call with a customer, you can literally only be engaged with one customer or one ticket or one issue at a time.
Yep. Whereas
live chat, help desk, in this case, Hark, allows you to scale from a customer service perspective and scale massively because it's not asynchronous in the sense that phone is asynchronous, but what it allows us to do is we can, especially with live chat, we can now have multiple live chats going at one time. We can, in a process driven way, we can get through help desk tickets. Typically, if we've got all the information we need, which Hark does fill that gap, it helps to plug that gap of information gathering. If we've got all the information we need, the customer service team can rip through help desk tickets usually very quickly. It's the back and forth that it is the thing that takes the time. So presumably that was your goal. Your goal was like, if time to resolution is measured in the number of responses that we have to give, then what we're aiming to do is we're aiming to reduce the number of times the customer has to contact us, and we're reducing the number of times that customer service has to respond. So you're trying to reduce the sheer number of round trips for any one ticket from lodgement to resolution. Yeah.
That's exactly right. If they're one of the brands we've been talking to has a typical 5-touch until resolution average. And a lot of that, they require video for some of their damage requests. And people are sending them private YouTube links because they can't attach the video to email. It's just painful. Imagine if we can go 5 down to 1, 5 down to 2. It's going to save you a ton of money. And the way they're thinking of it is they use a BPO. And if we can reduce the amount of staffing we have at that BPO, there's a very clear ROI just from that, let alone being the cheapest channel. You said it best, right? Like you can be in a lot more places at one time. And a lot of the requests aren't urgent, right? I think live chat is wildly misused. People just use it because they want to get it off their plate. So they, with an AI chatbot, click human until they get to somebody. Here's my problem. Great, solved. Still takes them 5 to 10 minutes though. With Hark, 30 seconds, they move on with their day. And those agents can get to it when they get to it. No big deal, because the SLA is 24 hours or 18 hours or whatever you decide.
Awesome. And now you guys, as a business, you've been up and running for just over a year now. How long have you been out of beta? How long have you been in production? And it feels like it's still pretty early days. I guess you're definitely still a startup. So how are you starting to see traction? Are you creating the technical partnerships with the help desks and really allowing the help desks to be almost like a partner model in the sense that they will recommend Hark alongside their technology to elevate the value of their help desk technology within the brands they already work? Or are you really trying to go to market as an independent brand, an independent product, and really forging your own path and creating a new category of customer service technology?
No, I love the partnership perspective. I think the people at Zendesk have been great. We're talking to some others right now and are in the process of moving towards sort of integrations, and where there could be co-selling opportunities and things like that. They are so close with their customers. It makes total sense to partner with them and be a part of that ecosystem. We've been around for a little while now. We started out, it was really just me, and we started out as a native app, and I quickly realized that the native app adds a lot of friction, which we were trying to reduce, where a customer has to download an app in order to get in touch because the brand is listed on the app. That was the initial way we went to market. And since we've moved to this web app that we just talked about, of being ingrained within the website on the contact us page, following their brand kit, that just launched about a month ago, and we already have customers on board using it and onboarding more as we speak. So it's been a bit of a journey. One of the people that we brought on early, Ben Siegel from Pair Eyewear, he's the director of CX there, and he's an advisor for us now. But he saw what we were doing and was just like, I want to be a part of this. I want to help you build it. And that's accelerated things a lot on the back end, because we have a thought leader in the space helping us through the back end of, here's how his CX agents would want to see it. Here's how he does it into Zendesk or Freshly or whatever it might be. So that's been amazing for us. And he's been an incredible advisor, and he's become a great friend along the journey now too.
Incredible. And how do you guys see the future of Hark in terms of road mapping of your technology? Clearly, you've refactored the technology quite significantly to make it basically JS and HTML5 driven. So it's fully web-based now, and it works across mobile, desktop, etc. I see that it even has the ability to obviously activate your desktop or laptop camera. Obviously, you can use your mobile phone and the inbuilt camera in the voice recorder on there if you prefer. You have reduced the friction quite dramatically versus a dedicated app. And so that makes a lot of sense. For you guys, what are some of the things you say today, hey, we do this really well, but we want to do these certain things better, or there's some functionality that our customers are crying out for that we don't yet provide that we'd love to add to Hark over the next 6, 12, 18 months?
Yeah, short term now, some of the stuff is tagging things as urgent matters. So there might be specific workflows for some of our customers where they are rather urgent, and we want to be able to escalate them appropriately through the help desk software to show them that and get the agents right on top of it. There's some stuff we want to do with the tracker that I mentioned that's emailed to the customer, allow them to engage with the tracker, where if I use Zendesk for instance, but if the agent types a public comment on the ticket, then the customer can see it in the tracker and the customer can respond back asynchronously. They can toggle some buttons around like need help, haven't heard back, need help, escalate to management, need help, I need to add more to my ticket. Like that happens sometimes. So we want to keep all that uniform. A lot of what we're working on as well, though, simultaneously is taking this video and reporting around it. So because of the integrations that we have, we're not just ingesting Hark tickets, we are ingesting all tickets. And CX leaders, as you can imagine, have gotten very used to the reporting their help desk software provides. We can offer a new reporting structure and think about it a different way by creating an admin dashboard with sentiment analysis and things like that. And the more manual things we see CX leaders do, the more we want to automate those things. And they come up time and time again. For example, when the best CX leaders get product and marketing and the leadership team together in a room, and they have a detailed discussion about what they're hearing in the back and forth voice of the customer, but it typically ends with them creating Google Slides and putting emails on those slides and reading them out loud. It's just not that powerful. It's not that impactful. When they show video, it changes things, and product even wants to get involved and maybe reach out to that customer. So we're looking at ways to automate that, and they can just quickly pull negative sentiment, damaged items. Boom, they've got 5 videos. They can run through them very quickly. So yeah, there's a lot on the roadmap we're looking at, and we want to be our own full little ecosystem ingrained with all help desk softwares relatively soon.
Very good. And now I know that if you look at a Feedbackify or even some of the forms that help desk platforms give to embed in a given website, they will capture at the point of the feedback being given, they will capture the device used, they will capture the page that they were on, they will capture the screen, they will capture a whole bunch of information around the device that was actually providing the feedback. And that's pretty important, because what I discovered when I was working brand side is that information becomes super important when you're trying to troubleshoot a bug, say, for example, on the website, the device they're using, the browser they're using, the version of the browser, the version of the device, the operating system of the device. All those things become really key components of being able to quickly troubleshoot over and above the information the customer provides, because they can say, hey, this doesn't work. But then the customer service rep usually has to go back and ask them a whole bunch of questions: what device we're using, what browser, what version, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that is usually one of the first things that they have to get out of the way is, okay, is this device specific? Is it browser specific? Is it OS specific? What is it that's going on here? Were you in landscape mode? Were you in portrait mode? They have to ask a whole bunch of questions. And so how do you guys think about that aspect of the ticket creation process? Are you, by definition, also capturing some of that same user specific or browser or device specific information at the same time they're creating the hardware?
It is certainly on the roadmap. One of the things that we've heard from product and engineering teams specifically is they're using similar wares to Feedbackify, but it only works when their customers are logged in and tracks that way. And it's limited because it tracks in the background, but they can't see. And we are absolutely working on conjoining the two, where we can give an even more holistic view, so that, if I'm using some CRM like HubSpot or Salesforce, I can use Hark, record what's going on, send it to that team. And instead of that customer success rep, like you said, come back asking a million questions, they can forward that to engineering, can replicate their instance, and customer success can say, great, thanks for sending that. We solved it for you. You should be good to go. Versus, let's set up 30 minutes and walk me through it and replicate the bug, and then the customer success manager is compiling all that together. So I'm speaking back what you just said to me, but absolutely it's on our forefront and it's on the roadmap.
Great. And so I'm guessing that in the meantime, the way a brand would deal with this is they would perhaps recommend that information as part of the information that someone would want to provide as part of their Hark. Hey, just tell us in the recording, in the audio, in the video, just tell us what device you're using, tell us what browser you're using, give us as much information as you can so that we can get this issue resolved for you. If it is a technical website issue, for example, give us, these are the 3 or 4 things that if you tell us in the video what you're using, this will help us get to a place of resolution significantly quicker for you.
Yeah, we toe that line. And what we don't want to do is just be so overwhelming. I equate it back to when you reach out to a brand's support team and you get that long macro back, and it's like a book to read it. And basically they're trying to put the onus back on you to figure it out before you engage with a human being. I don't want to bring that into Hark. I want it to be sitting down with a brand and saying, okay, what 90% of the time, What are the two things that you need from them? And having a consistent message to say, okay, take the video, make sure you say, this is the I'm on a MacBook and this is X, Y, and Z that I'm using. Now take the video. Just, again, make it seamless and easy. And if they have to come back and ask for one more thing, no big deal. But we just want to make it frictionless as possible for the users.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes back to that fine balance between asking for too much information in the first go to where it actually puts people off even contacting customer service in the first place, versus trying to capture as much information as possible so that it minimizes the round tripping of a ticket. So it's a pretty fine balance, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a dance, and that's for sure. But my belief in what we've seen is that when you instruct the consumer to say, here's what we need to solve it out, like it's just these few things, do X, Y, and Z, they're willing to do it, no problem. Where they get frustrated is they try to do it. They try to take the high road and do all this and help you out as an agent. And then you come back and ask for the same thing, packages a different way, or this or that. And that's where there's frustration in the back and forth. Almost like when you call the internet provider and your router's not working, and the first thing they say is, have you unplugged it and plugged it back in? So yeah, I've done that 5 times. Mitigates that. This allows them to say, hey, here's what's going on. I've tried troubleshooting based on your website. I've done this, I've done that. I need somebody to help take the next step. And you don't have to sit through a phone tree and explain the same problem to 5 people. They can just route it internally to 5 different people who watch your video, but you're only engaging with one person who is the right person to solve your problem.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Look, I really enjoyed our chat, Fran. This has been really, I see the gap. Like, I see the gap that you guys uniquely fill. I've lived at the pointy of the spear, so to speak, of CX and customer service, and then also had to deal with tickets from customer service being assigned to me as an e-com manager to try to troubleshoot an issue. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that if I had a Hark video attached to that ticket in CRM or in the help desk, and when it was escalated to me as an e-commerce manager, 9 times out of 10, I would have to go back to the person who was managing customer service, ask them 3 or 4 more questions. Then they would have to go back to the customer, ask those 3 or 4 more questions, get some more information, send it back to me, and we would round trips minimum of 3 times usually. And so I totally get the gap. I see how you guys fill the gap. If I would have received a Hark video, it would have reduced those round trips to either nil or maybe 1, and it would have significantly reduced friction. And also just the total time to resolution. It's not just about the number of round trips, it's the minutes, the hours, the days to resolution for the customer. It would have dramatically reduced that. So I definitely see the value in the platform. Sounds like you guys are onto a winner here. So congratulations on building a pretty incredible piece of technology for customer service teams and for brands to really treat customers like gold and really respect their time. So congratulations on that. Now, as we come to the end of our time together, we're at a section of the podcast where I turn the microphone over to you. I let you ask me one question, any question you like. You get to put me on the spot. So I'm gonna turn the microphone over to you, Fran Brzyski from Hark, and super cool to have you along. Thank you very much. Microphone over to you to ask me any question you like.
Microphone over to me. There has been a lot of change in terms of the help desk software space since we're on that topic. Who do you see coming out to be the front runner in, I don't know, say 5-10 years from now? How do you see that landscape changing? And how do you see teams evolving using help desk softwares?
Yeah, look, from my perspective, at least from my seat in the industry, I see Gorgeous taking a super strong lead in the help desk space over more legacy platforms, or I guess the legacy winning platforms like Zendesk in the past. Gorgeous has really taken it to the market, and I've seen them absolutely explode onto the scene over the last couple of years. And that was obviously validated by Shopify's recent massive investment into Gorgeous, just announced a couple of days ago. Yep. So as far as I'm aware, they are the number 1 help desk on Shopify now, the number 1 downloaded help desk app for Shopify now. So I really see Gorgeous coming out as maybe not the enterprise class website leader where Zendesk seems to be trying to go, but certainly from a D2C brand, B2C brand, help desk perspective for e-commerce, Gorgeous has such deep integrations with the e-commerce platforms themselves. They've just announced, literally yesterday, their brand new fully deep integration with BigCommerce that puts them on a par with their integration with Shopify now, where in real time their help desk operators can actually see order history. They can see all of the ticket history. They can actually trigger off things like refunds and credits and all sorts of other things from directly within the Gorgeous help desk window. And so I think Gorgeous is headed in the right direction in terms of being that really holistic help desk that they don't have to have 3, 4, or 5 different windows open at once to achieve all the customer service things that an e-commerce brand needs to achieve to service their customers at a high level. So from my seat right now, Gorgeous is really taking it to the market, and they're doing a really good job.
I'll tell you what, I'm in a few groups with a lot of CX leaders, and the Gorgeous users are super fans and very excited to be part of Gorgeous. And they're just wowed every time Gorgeous comes out with new updates and new extensions to their platform. So very interesting to hear that.
Awesome, mate. Yeah, they're doing some amazing stuff, especially with social DMs and being able to DM across almost all platforms now. It's pretty holistic, pretty integrated platform. So really good on them. They've done some really good stuff and continue to invest massively in the platform. So good on them. Now, listen, it has been awesome chatting with you today. How should people get a hold of you or Hark? Presumably the best thing to do is to go to sendhark.com, sendhark.com. If they want to learn more about the platform, if they want to reach out to you directly, should they go to LinkedIn, or should they really just go to the Hark website is the first point of contact?
Go to the Hark website, send us a Hark, but also on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/fbrzysky, BRZYSKI. A lot of people probably won't be able to remember that. It's Polish. Or just email me, Fran at sendhark.com is easy enough too. But go to sendhark.com, go to contact us, and send us a Hark.
And they get to see your experience and experience it for themselves all in one go. Fran, it has been awesome chatting with you today. Really appreciate it. Let's catch up again in another 6, 12, 18 months, and let's see how much further Hark has developed and some of the new use cases that you've built out for Hark in the meantime. I really look forward to that.
Absolutely, my friend. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me on.
Are you a merchant or software vendor that is focused on e-commerce or omnichannel? Then head over to greenwoodconsulting.net to see how we can help you scale your business.